Welcome, everyone, to the sixth-round post-fight show for UFC 224. Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington with me, Zane Simon, my co-host, Eddie Mercado. We're here from BloodyElbow.com to recap tonight's action from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, on what was eventually a pretty good card, marred mostly by a completely one-sided beating of a main event and a corner that once again proves that nobody cares as little about their talent as MMA corners.
Well, yeah, second to the UFC, of course. Let's not forget that.
True.
But, yeah, awesome fucking card. 11 finishes. We had 11 of 13 bouts end with a finish.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking awesome.
And most of the two decisions were great fights, too.
Fuck yeah. Absolutely. I'm so pleased with this card. And, you know, going in, it's like, fuck this card, you know, but it turned out to be pretty hot. It was so bad going in that even the UFC tweeted out a little meme saying, oh, this is a terrible card with the SpongeBob face. It's like, man, when the UFC is even admitting that, you know, everyone thought it was shit going in. It's cool, though, man. I liked it. The main event definitely was cringeworthy. You know, when someone says I'm done and I don't want to fight anymore, and it's like, get your win bonus. Go, you got a win bonus on the line here, or whatever the case may be. But
especially too when it's like, you know, her nose was busted going into that final round, but you know, you send her back out there and suddenly she's just she ends the fight just pouring blood everywhere, and it's just like, you just made an injury worse. That's all you did. You made it clearly worse.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what kind of turmoil that's going to cause with her in her corner, or maybe that's just how she operates. Maybe she's one of those fighters who she'll quit on herself, but she won't quit if it's for other people.
Yeah,
you know,
could be. But even then, you gotta know. Like, I mean, if that's the way your fighter's gonna be, then you gotta have more signal. Like, you gotta have a safe word at that point. You know.
Well, shit, man, Hoist Gracie, you know, they would have let him fucking die in UFC 1. Like, there wasn't no quitting. There's no submitting there or giving up. So, I mean, Bushido comes in all forms. So, I don't like, if someone says they want out, let them out.
Yep.
You know, what are you going to do? But she got her ass kicked for almost 5 complete rounds.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Raquel Pennington back in the cage anytime soon. Like, it may be a while.
Yeah.
That feels like the kind of beating that, I mean, even from like moment one, she gave like that first low kick and went down, and then a second one and went down, and the rest of the fight from there was just like.
I kind of felt like it was even before that. Like, Pennington comes out and she's like she turns into Keith Jardine. Like, she's out there like super nervous, so much nervous energy, overreacting to every single feint. And she looked scared. She looked scared to fight Amanda Nunes, and
which
can't fight scared.
It's too bad because she actually had a reasonable amount of success when she could make herself come forward and actually like calm herself down enough to throw shots.
Yeah,
she was able to stay in the fight for the moments that she was willing to throw in the fight, but those came low enough that she was getting pretty clearly outstruck 2-1 in every round, and you can't win that way.
It's almost as if she did best in that final round when she was like, she went wounded tiger and was like, I'm throwing, like, fuck it, I don't have a choice. And it's like, well, where was this round 1? If you would have done something similar, you might have had more success. But Pennington continuously backed herself up to the cage, continuously allowed Nunes to dictate the pace, continuously allowed Nunes to just do whatever she wanted, and just kind of was looking to react instead of mounting anything of her own.
Before that, Kelvin Gastelum beat Jacare Souza. I agreed with the score. What did you think?
Yeah, no, fair play. Absolutely fair play. Jacare obviously had the first round. Gastelum obviously had the second round. And, you know, just looking at the third, I mean, Jacare was getting hurt way more than Gastelum.
Yeah.
In fact, it was as if no matter what Jacare hit Gastelum with, it wasn't affecting him.
No. At all. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, and this is exactly why I picked Jacare to win this fight, is for exactly that first round and exactly like Gastelum's lackadaisical attitude to eating shots and getting taken down and all that. Like, he goes in there and he clinches up with Jacare and just lets Jacare get body control, take him to the mat, and, puts himself in a ton of terrible positions. But the other side of it is, and the reason he does it is because he's obviously a superb athlete that can get out of a lot of shit and has power. I think the real tragedy, though, for me is, honestly, I'm fine with Gastelum winning. I think he'll be an interesting title challenger for somebody like Robert Whittaker, even if I think Robert Whittaker is absolutely going to dominate that fight. But the interesting thing to me is that if Gastelum hadn't dropped Jacare in round 2, Jacare probably wins this fight 29-28 because he won pretty much all the rest of that second round other than getting dropped. Which is crazy because he was so out on his feet. And it's like, I know he was
still landing strikes.
He was dropped hard. He ate a ton of shots. He absolutely deserved to lose the round for getting hurt as badly as he clearly did. But then he came back and he landed all the rest of the big hard shots for the rest of the round.
He did. And even in the third, the third's debatable. Don't get me wrong. Completely debatable, but he was way more hurt in that fight than Gastelum was.
Yeah. You gotta always give that extra nod towards damage, and Jacare was definitely the dude more beat up in a fight. If you're the more beat up guy in a fight, you probably lost that fight.
Yeah. That's street code.
Yeah. Before that, Mackenzie Dern beat Amanda Bobby Cooper. Hard not to feel bad for Cooper.
Hell yeah! You're fucking you weigh in as a strawweight competitor in a flyweight fight. I'd be fucking pissed too.
Yeah, and the thing is that she knew it from a mile out too. She knew a couple weeks ago. She's talking to one of our to Tim Bissell over with us at Bloody Elbow, and she's like, she's gonna miss weight. I'm gonna take the fight anyway. And she even, she knows what all the problems with Mackenzie Dern's game are and all that. It's just, Mackenzie has a style that, for somebody as inexperienced as Cooper just wasn't ready to deal with.
I don't think Cooper really expected to get caught on the feet like she did. Because Dern came out throwing the most insane bolos.
Yeah.
But one of them connected.
That's what Dern does every time.
What else is she going to do?
Yeah.
Pull guard?
She might.
That's her plan B.
Yeah.
I would assume, anyways, if she can't get the takedown.
But, that's the thing with Dern is that, it doesn't seem like she really cares about how professional she needs to be. I don't think she's hurting for money or, needs to take that seriously. And at the lower levels of her division where she's at right now, if she doesn't take it that seriously, she's still going to win fights. That's all it is. So sooner or later, they're going to match her up with somebody like Tatiana Suarez or Cynthia Calvillo or somebody else who can take a shot and stay safe and dictate where the fight takes place. And they're just going to beat her up for 15 minutes. But until that happens, she fought somebody like Alexandra Albu. Albu will fucking pull guard on Mackenzie Dern. She won't care, and she'll get subbed.
Yeah, well, sooner or later, Mackenzie's going to get scheduled in California, and she's going to miss weight, and they're going to make her move up.
That's true.
I think that's what really needs to happen. Make her fight in Cali. Make her, force the issue. Because this isn't, a one-time deal.
No.
Who has missed weight more times? This is John Lineker territory. This is Henry Cejudo territory.
Yeah, but even Cejudo, Cejudo was really clear. Once he had once the rubber met the road, he got his shit together in a hurry.
Not before we saw betting odds on whether or not he would make weight, though.
No, not before things got a little out of hand. But Dern just doesn't seem like she gives a shit, and I don't know what's gonna make her give a shit because I don't think she's motivated by money. I think this is all vanity for her right now.
I think she might become a heel.
Yeah.
I really think she's gonna go the heel route, kind of like the way Ronda did, And there's so many parallels to her and Ronda Rousey. It's scary. From being really shitty on the feet to, having a pretty wicked ground game.
Yeah.
But at least Ronda came in on weight. That, man, that's so unexcusable.
Yeah.
And it's you come from a sport jiu-jitsu background where you're used to making weight. This isn't new things for you. You're just shitting on everybody in the sport.
I mean, I don't know. I don't give that much credit. It's not like wrestling. I don't give nearly as much credit to the importance of jiu-jitsu weight divisions as I do.
But still, like,
Yeah.
making weight or weight classes is nothing new to her.
No,
Like, it's completely disrespectful. So, like, she gets no credit for this win. Like, you beat someone a division smaller than you. Like, congratulations. Like, oh, it's cool you landed a big shot in the feet. Like, that's exciting and fun. But, like, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, we'll see though. Her missing weight was the big story going in. I won't be that surprised if she's like the biggest narrative coming out of this. You know, felt like more people cared about her than just about anything else on this card.
There's a lot of. I mean, there's quite a few takeaways for me.
I know, but you know, you're not representing the mass market out there.
I guess that's true.
All right. Before that, John Lineker knocked out Brian Kelleher. Classic performance from Lineker. And unfortunately, I mean, I can kind of see it going in. It's just like Kelleher's going to have to push he's going to have to like walk a crazy line to win this fight. And he didn't look like he was ready to walk it, you know?
Well, he did at first. Like, the first half of that first round, it was like, oh, shit, Kelleher came to fucking go back until he got clipped. Once he got clipped in that first, he's like, oh, shit, I need to mind my P's and Q's a little more, do a lot more skirting on this outside, do a lot more of this not offensive stuff.
Yeah. Once you give control like that to John Lineker, I mean, it's the same thing like we saw with Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington. You can have your moments, but he's just going to march forward and he's going to dictate where he's throwing, what he's throwing, keep you guessing all the time. And, you know, he just started out going to the body hard over and over until Kelleher had to keep his elbows down and tight. And then he started leading to the head to go to the body, doing that over and over until he had to pick one or the other, and he never could figure out which one to pick.
I fucking love that, man. I love watching that. There was that one moment though where, I think Kelleher shot in and Lineker locks up a guillotine attempt, and then like threw his legs back though, like I'm gonna disengage, but like stayed with it. It was like, I'm not gonna disengage. I'm gonna actually go for this, and I'm like, no, and then Kelleher grabs the single leg, and I'm like, no. But then he got out of it, and what I absolutely loved was the fact that Lineker had 2 rounds in the bag without question. He could have just coasted to a decision, but like out of nowhere, he just turned it up, and he's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done with this fight. Let's get this guy out of here. I can beat him. I'm better than him. Let me go ahead and do that.
Well, at his most fun, I mean, I think that's the great thing about Lineker's style is that it's all building blocks. It's all supposed to be building to the ability to just turn it up like that. You know, it's the idea, like I say, he's going to the body early. He's opening up the jaw. Then he starts going upstairs. He gets people confused so that eventually he can just be like, I'm just coming after you now, and you don't know what's happening.
God, he's such a killer. I fucking love it. I love it.
It's so much fun to watch. So
he got a walk-off knockout, too.
Yeah.
Right hook to the body, left hook to the jaw, instant smile, admiring his work. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah. I don't know that he's never going to be a title winner, but he's like the absolute elite of action fighters, you know?
Oh, yeah. It doesn't get any better than that.
No. For that, Vitor Belfort, Lyoto Machida, that fight went about like I thought it would, which was basically a terrible fight right up until Machida knocked him out. I mean, I don't know. Like, there were people who were like, oh, yeah, classic dragon. And I'm like, dude, Vitor Belfort landed pretty much nothing that whole fight and then got knocked out with the first hard strike he got hit with. Is it really like classic dragon to knock out a 40-year-old man and after 6 minutes doing nothing?
Definitely. That first round was completely ass from both sides. Like, it was so low output and it was just terrible. But Machida was like, you know what? I've seen this movie before. I know what Anderson Silva did out here. I'm going to do the same thing because I can. I did it to Randy. I already know I can do it. So boom.
It was an awesome KO. It was just an awesome KO at the end of a terrible 6 minutes of fighting.
Yeah, and how Machida just stood there with his hands on his hips. Like, that was the most gangster thing I've ever seen Machida do, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it's true. A rare show of pride from Machida.
Yeah, very rare.
Anyway, terrible moment for Vitor to walk off on, but it was pretty much almost always going to go that way for him. And we'll probably see him back in 6 months in Ryzen. So,
Yeah, if not Bellator.
Or sure. Bellator.
Yeah. So, yeah, he retired from the UFC, though, after, well, he might never fight again. That could
He might not, but even in the end, like even in his post-fight retirement speech, he was talking like a guy who has not come to grips with the idea of actually retiring.
Oh yeah, I mean he doesn't know anything else.
No,
like, he's not going to go be an analyst for Fox or ESPN or whoever.
He's been fighting at the highest level of MMA since he was 17, 18.
That's 22 years at the top of the sport of combat sports. That's insane.
Yeah,
most finishes in UFC history, most KOs in UFC history. Most first-round finishes in UFC history, and he won the light heavyweight title. So he's walking away with first ballot Hall of Fame honors, I think.
I can see the argument, and I would have to think a little more about it, but probably. I mean, Matt Serra's in, then fuck what? Yeah, of course.
Matt Serra?
Yeah, Matt Serra's in the Hall of Fame.
He won the welterweight title. I mean, he came.
Sure,
he was the first guy who came up through the Ultimate Fighter to win the title, right?
Right. So every champion gets in the Hall of Fame at that point.
I mean, Matt Serra, he was a vet though, a pioneer. Like Shoney Carter, like Pat Miletich. He might not have fought Pat Miletich, but he definitely fought like Shoney Carter and like.
I mean, he's fine. Like I don't dislike Matt Serra. But I just don't, I mean, at that point, the tap out dude's in it too, so whatever. Like, it's just, the UFC Hall of Fame really should just reward any and everyone who's made them enough money, and Vitor Belfort has definitely done that.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's fair.
For that, Cesar Ferreira beat Carl Roberson, and, this fight never should have been booked, honestly.
Yeah, what a mismatch. I mean, the craziest part is like the odds were like 50-50.
I know.
I don't know. It's like, you don't know. If anything, like Ferreira should be like minus 200 or minus, 175, something like that.
Like somehow Carl Roberson landing clinch elbows against some dude on Dana White's Contender Series and then submitting Darren Stewart was like, oh, yeah, he's a killer that's going to put Ferreira out. Like, we haven't even seen this dude knock anybody out with his hands. Ferreira doesn't have a great chin, but Carl Roberson's 0-3 glory run isn't exactly selling me as an all-time kickboxing great.
And Ferreira came in winning 4 of his last 5. So,
and his one fight against Theodorou pretty much looked like it looked like the kind of fight that Roberson couldn't replicate, which basically being a high volume, constant pressure striking fight from Theodorou, which we've never seen that out of Roberson. Like, I'd have to see him fight that fight to know that he can do it.
And the second Ferreira ate that leg kick, he's like, man, you know what? I'm about to go veteran this cat right here real quick.
Yeah.
Let me show him the ropes really fast.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Roberson, that's his 6th fight in his UFC career, one that started back in 2015. And that's the 19th fight in Cesar Ferreira's career, stretching back to 2007. So
I'm glad he put Roberson to sleep. Like Roberson, I'm sure he's a great dude. No disrespect, but
it needs to be levels to this game kind of moment.
The planets have aligned how they are supposed to.
Yeah. For that, Alexia Lineker beat Junior Albini, and apparently Junior Albini doesn't watch any tape at all. Doesn't prep for. I mean, I was just like, even going in, I'm just talking about like, okay, so Lineker, when you clinch up with him, he'll lock the Ezekiel choke standing, and he'll give you a takedown. And it's your job not to take the takedown because that will just put you right into the Ezekiel choke even deeper. And that he's won like half his fights that way. Albini, clinches up, the Ezekiel choke goes on. He's like, oh, I got underhooks, free takedown, trips the Lineker's leg out. 2 seconds later, he's tapping. It's just like, God damn it.
Man, what a boss-ass fucking submission, though.
I know.
It's so absurd.
I I love seeing a Lineker get those wins because they're so funky and weird, and it's like seeing Von Prue get over St. Preux get the Von Prue choke now, the Von Prue choke. But
yeah, kind of like that. But it's even better than that, though. This is even better. I feel like this is just like old man sorcery here. Like, what kind of wizardry is this? Like, what's really going on? It's just like some just big old like dad just like squeezing the fuck out of someone. It doesn't even look like a real hold.
I know.
Like, it doesn't look like it should work, but
it barely works with the gi on it. It's like
it's such a strength choke.
Yep.
Like it's just impossible.
It's a funky choke that people catch other people with, like when they're slipping. It's like, oh, you weren't looking out, you didn't know, and I got you. And in heavyweight MMA, that's like every dude. Every dude is just like, I don't really have to grapple. That's not something heavyweights do.
It's like the no-gi baseball bat choke.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it'll work, but not very often. Unless like that's all you do and all you practice. Then
yep.
Which you do. But good on Olenek, man. This is the second one in the UFC. Like, you know what? You're catching this regionally, okay. But you're doing this repeatedly in the UFC. Like, that, people have to start taking that seriously.
Yeah.
Like, I can see how it's so easy
they should have been taking it seriously for fucking ever. Like, he's got one knee. He's 40. He hits hard, but he just swings wild clubbing haymakers. This isn't like an advanced test. You showed up on the day for chemistry, first day chemistry, and there's a pop quiz, and it's like, write your name, prove you showed up, and you just didn't go to class that day and you failed. Or
it's like the direction says, read the directions and don't do anything.
Yeah.
And then you filled out the whole paper and
exactly
you fail. But
all right, before that, Davi Ramos, Nick Hine, that was a pretty face crank, rear naked choke.
The old face smasher. I love it.
Yep.
And
I love how he got the back too, where he he's going for that Kimura, and he swings his body off, and you can see Hine for a second. He's like swings himself off of side control from Nick Hine. And he's still got the grip, and Hine, you can see his face like, oh, I'm getting out of this, stand up time, and just dragged right back into back control. It's just like, nope, that's it.
Dude, it looks like something out of the Matrix or something. Like, that was so smooth and so sweet. And, like, I'm glad he finished from that position, too, because that was fucking dope. After getting dropped on the feet. Like, Nick Hine, you had your moment. You dropped him, and you're like, you know what? Let me not tussle with this guy on the ground. Let me let him up. So he stands up, instant double leg takedown. It's like, oh shit! Like, there goes your window here. Yep,
good stuff from Ramos. I'm excited to see him winning. He's a powerhouse built fighter. He's got an exciting ground game. If he can mash all that together and make it really work, he'll at least always be a fun, weird test for other lightweights.
Yeah, definitely has a lot of holes on his feet though.
Oh yeah.
But people are afraid, like legit afraid of his ground game.
Yeah, I was definitely I was sad to see that for a guy who's actually done pretty well to work behind a jab standing against Hine as a southpaw. He was just like, I'm not jabbing then, and it's just like, well, you don't really have any other standing offense then.
Man, Hine really reminds me of like a poor man Scott Holtzman. It's like he can throw and he can hurt people, but there's something funky about him that he just can't seal the deal. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, he's definitely. It seems like he just has not added enough tools to his judo and left hand base, and it's just not.
It's a good left hand though. Really it is a really nice southpaw left, but
yeah, but it's just like a one punch and judo trips game.
He's been around for a minute too. He's been in the UFC for.
Yeah, he has. He's been around a bit now. For that, Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos fucking put it on Sean Strickland. Oh man.
Incredible.
Every time I see that replay, I'm just like, oh.
Yes, that was like exactly my reaction. I just like lost it. I'm like, oh, did that just happen? Yes. Like, fuck yeah. Spinning heel kick to the face.
Yeah.
I started singing that, Bonin away from Only the Strong. Hashtag 1993. Man, that was slick shit.
Great to see from Zaleski because he's a fun as shit action fighter. So I'm happy to see him get a big win over a dude like Strickland, who has every tool in the world to be a very good fighter, but is totally boring and works behind a jab and does almost nothing else. And credit to Strickland, he was throwing out a few more 1-2s this fight, but it really does seem like he's hit a wall where any really athletic, powerful, gifted striker who isn't willing to just bet on the idea that there's something coming behind Strickland's jab, which there almost never is, can really actually hurt Strickland and tee off. Like, that's what you get. That's the way you get that wheel kick, is somebody who's just saying like, yeah, I know you're throwing a jab, but I also know you're not going to throw anything beyond the jab. So if I just step in with some crazy shit, you're going to be right there.
Yeah, because it's like Strickland has his jabs, he has his crosses, and he has like this slight forward pressure. And it's like, no matter what you're coming forward, but you're not hitting hard enough to make your opponent respect whatever you're sending his way. Yeah. So it doesn't take much to just bite down on your mouthpiece, maybe even eat whatever Strickland's about to throw, and then just come at him with something super hard and take him out. And that's exactly
it works. His style works really great for guys who've come to striking as like who haven't got a lot of confidence in their striking, who are trying to work on it and build their pieces. You got Court McGee, you got Tom Breeze, you got guys who are just kind of trying to figure out how to be confident strikers. Then they see that jab coming all night, and it's like, oh, I bet something big's coming behind it. I better stay off and mind myself, watch out for him. But you got Zaleski and before him Ponzinibbio, who are just like, fuck it, I'll just step in and throw, see what you can do. And they've had a lot of success, and it's hard not to see as Strickland goes up, if he's going to try to climb. Other dudes higher up the ranks can do a lot of those same things.
And he only has one speed.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a guy that ever turns it up.
No.
Like, I've never seen a second gear out of him.
No.
I don't have a lot of hope for that dude. I think he's going to continue to Christmas tree and alternate wins and losses.
Yeah, it might be like 2 wins to 1 loss, though, because there's a lot of people, too, below him that just aren't very comfortable strikers who are going to see his size and see that jab and just kind of freeze up.
Yeah, that's true.
Before that, Warlley Alves beat Sultan Aliyev, and another decent, not a great performance from Alves, but I see the things that I want to see most, which is Alves being controlled and not going nuts.
Yeah. Like, he was still aggressive,
yeah,
but he was also controlled at the same time. It's like he knew when to be aggressive and when to be technical. And
he still got clipped up a couple times by Aliyev, who just who looks like, I think it just must be that he's just strong as a motherfucker, because he's wooden and stiff, but there's like a moment in there where he just like grabbed Alves and just like threw him on the floor. And it's just like, the dude just must be beastly strong, because every time he hits you with like an arm punch, a waving arm punch, Alves would be like, oh shit, I got to get out of here.
I mean, he definitely looks like he's powerful as shit.
Yeah.
But man, Aliyev looked to clinch here.
Yeah.
But I just don't think he expected Alves to be better in the clinch.
Yeah, Alves had absolutely had his number in the clinch, and Aliyev wanted to use it as a safety valve. I mean, it's the classic thing where a lot of fighters, they think, well, I can get to the clinch, I can be safe in the clinch, and I can set up what I'm going to do next. And if the person you're fighting is actually just a way better clinch fighter than you, you're just going to continually push yourself into danger, and that's obviously what he did here.
Man, Alves was launching some knees from the clinch. Like, those were hurting me. I'm like, ugh. And actually was landing the short shots from the clinch. And I think that's what initiated the swelling that was accumulating around the eye of Ali.
For a really great, powerful athlete who obviously has tools everywhere, who's got good submissions, who's got some good wrestling, who's got some decent strikes, just seeing Alves kind of keep everything locked down, keep it together, not just pour his gas tank out all over the mat in the first round and light it on fire. It's good to see.
And Aliv, he was out for over a year coming into this, which turned out to not be a good thing.
Yeah.
And really just didn't have much to offer. So
for that, Jack Hermanson beat Talis Latis, and man,
God damn it.
What a fucking performance from Jack Hermanson.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was fucking crazy. What a comeback.
Broke his rib in round 2. I think he said it may have been the first, but I think it was the second. It seemed like
it was the second too.
Pretty clearly early in the second round, broke his rib. Look, I mean, Latis had that arm triangle on tight a couple of times.
Yeah, and a anaconda, I think.
And an anaconda, yeah. All of that looked like it was due to put Hermanson out. But man, Hermanson just kept fighting through it, and that after that last anaconda and to start the third round, and he got that anaconda and he came out. They broke, and Hermanson got back up, and I was just like, Latis looks tired. Latis looks really tired. That's not good.
Well, I gave Latis a 10-8 second round.
Yeah,
like so fucking dominant. So fucking dominant. I think he hurt Hermanson's rib with the takedown.
Yep.
And it's like you see the grimacing on Hermanson's face. Yeah. And so Latis, he goes for the arm triangle, but he's caught against the fence. So Latis starts moving both of them to free himself. And I'm like, oh shit, that is so smooth. Here it comes. And like Hermanson had a way out. It's like, oh, I'm injured. I have a way out. And he didn't fucking take it. He's like, I'm not going out like that. I'm still in this.
Yeah, somebody argued that with me on Twitter. They were saying like, oh, well, Hermanson verbally submitted. He yelled out. So Latis should challenge it and try and get it overturned and all that. I'm like, it's not really how it works.
That's up to the referee's discretion.
Exactly. If it's not an obvious clear tap like that, if it's just he yelled in pain, which he did, like that's up to the referee's discretion if he's going to treat that like a verbal submission or not.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it happen. Joe Warren and Marcos Galvao, the knee bar. Warren didn't tap. He just screamed, and the refs jumped in.
Yep.
It's completely up to the referee. There's no way you can get that overturned.
Yeah. I mean, the Brazilian Commission, they're a little more willing to battle their refs just because it's a national board rather than a state board, depending on state funding and wanting to keep referees in like, oh, yeah, we want you to work with us, and we don't want to fuck with you and make your job harder. So they're a little more willing, but I would be shocked. I'd be shocked if Latis even challenged it. Honestly, I don't think he doesn't seem like the kind of dude who would take that and be like, "Oh, I'm going to use that avenue to prove I got this win after a fight that I had multiple chances to finish and then got beat up."
Yeah, Latis gassed out. He gassed his arms out. I'm 100% convinced going for those subs. And like the most heartbreaking part was when, after the anaconda, he like dropped back for like a guillotine, like half ass. And I'm just like, no, you didn't just do that. That's like 1994 shit or 2004 shit. Like, what are you doing? That's such a rookie move. Like, you have to be dead to rights. You have to be like just dead tired. There's no other excuse.
And just seeing Hermanson though afterward, and he's like crying and he's screaming and he's just sitting in the cage. It's like, it's like, that is such a great post-fight. See, like he looked like he was in so much pain and at the same time so happy.
So much joy. Yeah. That's glory right there, man. That's what it's all about. Crazy comeback.
Crazy comeback. Crazy fight. Great performance. I hope he gets a bonus out of that.
Not the greatest of performances. Like, it was a great comeback and so much heart and grit.
Well, okay.
But he did let Latis take control of the fight, dictate the fight, and make Hermanson fight the way he wanted it to be fought.
It's true. He did let Latis in and take him down. I mean, it showed that there are still gaps in Hermanson. If he's going to keep building up towards the top of the division, he was not nearly consistent enough about sticking Latis out at range and working the range game where he had a huge advantage and a clear one early. Like, he was just putting it on Latis for like the first 2 minutes, blitzing him. But so it's still some things there, but I can't discredit any kind of comeback like that.
Definitely a solid comeback win, but I wouldn't say it's like an excellent performance that makes me hopeful.
I guess it's just the bottom half of the top 10 is filled with at middleweight is filled with guys that could all be beaten by that kind of fight on any given night. You know, you got your Uriah Hall's in there, and your Thiago Santos's who beat him already. You know, but like there's a bunch of dudes floating up in there.
Where's he at?
All right, before that, Ramzan Ameev beat Alberto Mina, and just a fine, workmanlike, good performance from Ameev to take over and dominate a dude in Mina who was really uncomfortable being pushed backwards.
I think Mina was just uncomfortable being in a fight after like 2 years.
Yeah.
Or however long he was out. Like, he looked so rusty. He looked a step behind every single moment of that fight. And so, like, excellent performance from Ameev here. Good on him for not making any mistakes, any, like, huge mistakes. But I kind of wish he would have turned it up there in the third like Lineker did. And really was like, you know what? This guy has nothing for me. He's not even dangerous in any way. Let me take him out.
Ameev definitely was happy to coast out that last round and just be like, I got this in the bag. I'll just sit in my back foot, counter when I see it, and let the fight, let it go from there.
A little bit of a nitpick, but, still something that I wish I would have saw from him.
It's still a solid enough fight, though. Like, nothing wrong with it. As like the
Except
worst
for
fight on this
Mina
card.
going for that rolling thunder. What the fuck was that about? Like, third round rolling thunder?
The rolling door slam, the rolling slightly loud noise. It's like a little like
rolling lightning. Is that what it is? Oh, it was sad.
That was sad. That I don't know what that was. That definitely looked like a gymnastics tumble and not a
that
kick.
Had to have been like, dude, I'll give you like $1,000 if you do this in a fight. He's like, say I won't do this rolling thunder kick.
Before that, Marcus Perez beat James Bachnovic, and my read on this was that Bachnovic would have a good advantage way out from kicking range if he stayed there, and he just ran in and tried to take Perez down and grapple with him and got subbed out in under a round.
Yeah, he's like, I got an 8-inch reach advantage. Won't be needing that.
I'm a kickboxing coach with an 8-inch reach advantage. I'm going to go try to wrestle this dude.
Yeah, let me close the distance right away and see what's up there.
On this guy who hates throwing punches and has only really got a great ground game.
Yeah, he did Perez a favor here.
He really did.
This is Rothwell's kickboxing coach here?
Yep. Yeah, that tells you some things, doesn't it?
Yeah, this was a really easy fight for Perez.
When your kickboxing coach is like running out there and like just giving some grappler the easiest submission he can get, that's not a good thing.
He like threw himself into the grapple too. It wasn't even like there was like zero distance management there. It's like he wanted to be in the clinch for some reason.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what he was thinking.
Why is this guy always fighting on pay-per-view cards too?
I don't know. They needed somebody to lose in Brazil, I think, this time. They just needed to get the crowd off right with like a Brazilian getting the win.
Okay.
After all, I had to follow that up with Mina and Latest, so
Yeah, I thought it was a cool way to kick off the card, though. It was energetic. Yeah.
And overall, this was a fun card. No complaints.
Was a superb card.
Yep. Superb. Even the Pennington loss, the way the Pennington fight ended was a downer. The fact that it was one-sided all the way through gave you a bit of those Demetrius Johnson feels when DJ is just styling on some guy and you're like, this is so clearly only going one way for the whole of it. But it was still a fine fight, and that they haven't done.
There's a big technical gap between Mighty Mouse and Nunes. It's really sloppy.
But there's also a huge technical gap between Mighty Mouse's competition and the rest of the bantamweight divisions as competition for Nunes. It might be the same gap, is what I'm saying.
But there's really no Benavidez. There's no Joseph Benavidez floating around for Nunes.
No.
But there's a cyborg.
Yeah, there's Chris Cyborg who, in the post-fight interview, when they said, "Hey, man, Nunes, what's next?" She's like, "Dana White, I love you. UFC, I love you. Peace out."
What's next? The four of us are going to go have a beer. That's what's next. I don't know what y'all are doing. Oh, but that fight needs to happen.
It does.
Like, I don't want to see Nunes fight any other bantamweights. She needs to get in there with Cyborg.
Yep.
There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, I mean, is there any kind of interest built up for a Marion Renault or Ketlin Vieira title fight? No.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Nah.
So,
although I do have a soft spot for Marion Renault. I'd like to see her get one before she retires. She is
sure, but it could happen anytime. Like that, it could happen next year. It doesn't like
maybe.
That's something we would like to see for Marion Renault before she retires, not because that's the fight that has to happen right now.
Cyborg Nunes is the fight that has to happen.
All right. Well, on that note, let's wrap things up. You can find me on Twitter at TheZaneTime. You can find Eddie on Twitter at TheEddieMercado. You can find both of us over at BloodyElbow.com week in, week out, doing all our writing things. And we will be back next week for UFC Santiago, Chile, which looks like a really mediocre card that I don't know. I'm hoping it'll be fun. And is it on Fight Pass at least? Probably not.
I doubt it.
Because that would be like its saving grace. No. It's on FS1. So that card's going to crawl. And the main event is kind of interesting, and the rest of the card is totally not.
Yeah, the main event is way more interesting now than what it was.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure.
So we'll be back for a Viv section for that, for the 6th round for that. We'll have all our normal care, don't care, if I did it, heavy hands, all the kind of normal shows we do. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Give us a like, thumbs up. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, MMANation.com. It's where we are doing all this shit. And thanks everyone. We'll see you soon.
Comment, love us, all that.
Hate us if you have to, but
if you can find a way to.
Yeah.